All right, thank you all for joining us tonight. I do want to mention that, I'm sorry, again, we had another executive session before the meeting. It's very expedient for us to do it that way with Dave coming out here. And I'm sorry that we have to meet in this room, and keeps you all in the lobby. So, but we were just having an executive session, regarding professional services. And I do want to announce that. One other thing that I wanted to announce tonight, we're going to do things a little bit differently just tonight because we have a lot on the agenda, and most of the things on the agenda are not actually things that are going to be voted on. A lot of them are just being announced or are going to be hearings at another time. So, and we do have some reason where one of us may need to get out earlier tonight. So what we're going to try to do is at the beginning, if you have any agenda items that you have something that you want to bring up that of things that are being voted on, please bring them up. And then we're going to just try and get through our business, and we'll have comments. You can, as long as you like after. Okay. So I appreciate that. And we do want to make a motion to approve the minutes. Does anyone want to make that motion?
And I'll check.
I didn't say which minutes, I'm sorry. That was
Oh,
the
yeah.
minutes of April
April
15th.
15th.
And we're not going to approve the workshop minutes because not all of us have read them already. I don't even know if they're up online. Are they up online? They are? Okay. I don't believe everyone read them, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're going to hold on to that, and we will approve the minutes of April 15th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And can we have a police report? That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
This is the police report for the month of April. No trainings were attended by any officers. The number of calls for service were 155. Number of crimes investigated, 3. 1 DUI arrests. Number of traffic stops, 79, and number of accidents investigated. And
Thank you, Corporal Payne. And Jackie, can you please have the treasurer's report?
Okay, the summary of all funds were, April 2024, there is $12,049,266.85 total. Expenditures, $376,075.11 for the general fund, $126.76 for open space, and $305,264.86 for Capitol Road, for a total of $681,466.73.
And did you want to make mention of the things that
Yeah,
were on the website that weren't
there-
actually correct?
We were working in 2022 feverishly to get all of the book work done for the audit. So the budget versus actual that was posted was for year 2022. That was a mistake. Should have been for 2024. We do have that report, and I will post it tomorrow on the website, so everyone will have that. The board was given a copy of it tonight, so you have that. That was definitely my oversight. And Mr. Eldridge pointed out that there were duplicate entries for deposits. Once for $752.99, it was entered twice. And there was another one for $3,052 and some cents that was put in 4 or 5 times. What we have new people working in the books, and we have people who are being trained, and these were put in as memorized transactions, and somebody clicked on them multiple times and saved them. And that's how that happened. So we didn't catch that, and we should have, but we've corrected that, and we'll repost all the financials to correction.
Okay, so by tomorrow morning, they'll be up. Okay. All right, and you said expenditures summary?
Did that?
Those lists? Oh, I'm sorry, you did all of it.
I
Okay,
did.
all right, great. Do we have a motion to approve the expenditures list?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
And Jackie, please, again, we'll trouble you for the manager's report.
Okay. Dave, the first item regarding the RICO, should I read that? Was that under legal?
I would prefer you didn't read it
Okay,
here.
all right. The Riker water issue is being, addressed by legal counsel and our engineer. I'll just say that. The Lish drainage basin, we're waiting to get the revised plans from LTL so that we can give Dave the information for the easement. He needs to draw up the new easement agreement. And I'll follow up on this and hopefully get it to you sometime this week, Dave.
Okay.
The DEP waiver, as previously reported, the DEP waiver was granted, but only for 5 years instead of 10. And previously, we had gotten 10 years and 10 years 3 times in a row. So this is only for 5 years. So we have until March 31st, 2029, to start getting our MS4 plan in place. So we need to prepare for that in next year's
Is
budget.
that a new trend or is that due to the fact that we've gotten it so many times that they're doing it just to us?
Well, I think that our population is growing exponentially and we're close to that 10,000 mark. So I think that's.
So
part
that's
of
a
it.
sign that we better be
Yeah,
prepared for it
plus,
really
yeah,
to come and hit us.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
so, mold remediation, there is some, mold in the township building that needs to be remediated. And we had a company come out and, I gave you a proposal. And, we can talk about next month if you want to move forward with this. The total cost would be $9,830. So, the fire station repairs, Gordon Roskovich is the division manager for Lennar Building. And they are going through the punch list that they should have done years ago and are starting to make the corrections that they need to make. And we'll keep on top of this and keep the board informed. The other next two things are legal. Water testing was done at the township building at the request of the board, and we did give the report to the board. So I'll have to discuss that in further detail. The $65,000 DCED grant, we did get the grant extension for the Greenway Trails. And I will follow up on that to make sure we get the money and the closeout documents in line. The cell tower drilling will start on the 29th and 30th of this month. Construction has begun. They've laid out all the utilities and groundwork, but the actual drilling will take place on the 29th and 30th. And they will close off the back portion of the parking lot during construction. So everyone will need to park in the front section. Except when there's a board meeting, they're going to try to clear everything out so that we have access
Do you know how many spaces they're going to be closing up?
to the whole back section. Because that's where the trucks are going to go.
When you say the back section, so
After the median, everything behind the median. And between the median and the park. They're going to close that off, but it's only temporary and they will make sure it's open when there's expected big board
The
meetings.
grants,
okay.
whatever you want to call it. The divider.
It's
That's it.
actually stone,
Rocks,
yeah.
stones.
So everything on the other side of the
So-
stone, got it.
Yeah.
The 2023 workers audit was completed and I did send that to the board. There were no issues. I
say that again?
The 2023 workers' comp audit
Okay,
was
good.
completed.
Want to make sure which one.
Okay, the 2022 audit, as of Friday, we still had a couple of accounts that we needed to finish the reconciliations through 2023 and 2024 because we had to undo all of those to fix the 2022 bank statements. So one of those was the sewer fund, which I did not realize was not redone for 2023. So we'll be working on that tomorrow. So after tomorrow, once the sewer fund gets up to snuff and we go through some of these, what we have is a balance sheet with due to and due from. I don't know if anybody has accounting background, but we don't know where these funds came from and why they're supposed to go to where they're supposed to go because there's nothing in their saving funds that says this money's supposed to come. So we have to do a little bit of research to see if we can figure out where that money goes. And once we clean up the balance sheet with that stuff, we'll get the last bit to Chris Herr, who is doing our 2022 audit. And we should have that done.
At Mally.
Mailing, yeah. So we should hope with, Joe is coming in tomorrow. So with any luck, we'll get it all done tomorrow. In the meantime, I've uploaded all the bank statements, all the other documents that Mally needed for all the other funds. So
Jackie, I know that they've stated that they were gonna jump on that right away as soon as we gave them everything. Is there any kind of prediction of how long it's gonna take for them to
Chris and I
put
was-
that behind us?
Yeah, well, Chris and I were supposed to have a phone conversation today, but he got tied up, so I'm hoping to talk to him first thing tomorrow morning to find out when he's gonna start and when he thinks he'll finish up, so. I'll let you know tomorrow.
Okay, and the 2023 is gonna be right on the heels.
2023 will be done right after the 2022
Thank
audit.
you.
There's no bookwork that needs to be done for that, so. The concrete that was poured on the road by the contractor doing work on Flowing Springs Road has been remediated. They initially brought out a street sweeping, but it was concrete water and it solidified, so of course, street sweeping wouldn't remove it. So I suggested that they get a power washing company, and they did, and they removed the bulk of it, although today I heard there was a couple little tiny bits here and there that they missed, but it's concrete water and it's flat, and over time it'll wash itself away, and they're not big enough to make them bring back the.
It hasn't compromised the road surface, because a lot of it's the new road surface.
Yeah, no, like I said, we made them get a professional grade
Hey,
pressure washer to clean it.
I have a question about what is the risk of having concrete on top of a macadam surface? Because you see it all over the place on roads, and so I'm wondering what the real issue is, just aesthetics
Well, we had complaints from neighbors
about.
and
how it
residents
looks,
about the
or-
concrete on the road. And
But Jackie, was it
Yeah.
Aesthetics.
aesthetics? And so the contractor is paying for all that remediation.
And let me point out that the homeowner didn't get any permits, or this might have been avoided because Matt would have been going out there doing inspections. So there's that.
But 90% it's been taken care of at this
Yeah,
point. Okay.
yeah. As you know, we've been having solicitation issues in the township with disreputable companies. And we had another one this weekend through Echo Shield. They walked up driveways that were posted no trespassing. They went on the property and went around to the back of the house and were caught on the ring. I guess camera approaching the home from the back. The homeowner called. Jason revoked the permit, and we required them to cease what they were doing. We had another solicitor come in and apply for a permit today, whose permit was revoked last year for doing bad behavior. But there's nothing in an ordinance that says we can't prevent them from coming back and applying for another permit.
Right.
So that's something we need to look at in our solicitation permit.
And can I just stop you for a second? Dave, can you explain what our options are with that? Because that was something we want to look at, how we can handle that. Like you said, we actually can't do no solicitation. Obviously, you have to allow for political and religious, but
Right,
you can't deny permits.
can't
to that
deny
at all.
commercial
Mhm.
solicitations, but you can limit them, and you can say that where the homeowner has indicated no solicitation, and they have to honor that wish, in which case they would then be violating their permit.
And that's part of that no knock.
Right, right. And places where we established these no solicitation ordinances in the past, we created a no knock registry that's lodged with the police department. So as homeowners, you can get on that registry. Then that registry is given to anyone wanting to be able to solicit, get a permit to solicit, and here's the list of people that don't want you to stopping at their homes. So they're given that notice. Plus, if you as a homeowner put the sign up on your driveway or your front door, there's another notice to these potential solicitors that you don't want to see them.
And does that require us to pass an ordinance to
Yeah.
allow that?
Yeah, that's,
And is there anything we could do to strengthen the
If
way
you-
it
if
is
you-
now?
right.
Because we can't even,
If you
we can't even weed
violated,
out certain people.
right, so if you had a violation last year, Dave, and your permit was revoked, you can just come back this year and get another one. Is there any way to put a caveat on that, that if you had a permit revoked within a certain amount of time, you can't reapply for another one?
I'm certain that there is. We have to be careful about that.
Right.
But I'm certain that there is, that you can, I don't think you can permanently revoke it. But you may be able to limit how many times it come back, or and within so many years, they
Or
can't
based on background
reapply.
checks, we can.
Yeah.
Well,
Strengthen
there's
that
always the
somewhat.
background check issue. We can require criminal background checks to get a permit.
We
Right.
do, but then once we get them, we have no way to act on them. Like if you are a known burglar, we
Still have
can't
to let you go
not
door to
give you.
door.
No, well, that's the current ordinance, so we can,
Crazy.
the one that I sent you,
Yeah, we
Does-
drafted.
yeah,
Yeah.
does provide a little bit more teeth in the enforcement of it.
Right, so I think that's something that we need
Yeah,
to discuss with the
absolutely.
public.
I'm a little worried about how we're gonna make sure it's still okay for Girl Scout cookies to come to.
Well, if they have their background checks, they're okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do background. Dana suggested we have a list for people who want solicitors.
Yeah,
because
that
would
might
make
be
it a lot
easier.
shorter.
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty short list.
Okay, the pipe, as everybody has probably noticed, there's been some pipeline repair over, across from Mount Horn entrance to the park. They've remediated that, and so public doesn't need to be concerned about that. They found an issue and took care of it promptly on Friday, so good to see. The work is gonna continue, probably for, they said 7 to 10 days, so it started on Friday, so it's gonna go on for a little bit, so there might be, delays in that area if you're using that road. Let's see. Okay, and then the rest are the regular agenda items.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Mhm.
And, you know, as I mentioned before, I want to give anyone an opportunity who has questions about things that are not, that are going to be voted on tonight. So if it's just we're advertising it, we'll talk about that later. Are there any question or comments about the manager's report or some of those agenda items?
You're supposed to wait till later if it's not voted on?
Correct.
Okay.
Are you voting on acknowledgement or is that?
No, we're just acknowledging them. So that would be something that you would, if there's a hearing or
So
something
you're not taking
future,
any
then we would be
questions on that?
later, just not at the,
Tonight.
later, after we get through these items. Yes, but not before. So is there anyone else who had comments? Questions or comments before we move on? Okay. All right, great. Can we make a motion to authorize administration to advertise ordinance number 28, single-use plastic ban ordinance? And I think we're probably going to say no to that. Would you like me to just explain where we are with it?
We could make the motion.
Okay.
And we could vote
Mhm.
against it.
Sure.
Make a motion to authorize the administration to advertise ordinance number 208, single-use plastic ban ordinance.
I'll second it.
Okay, and one of the things that is at issue with that is we had a number of things that came up in the workshop, which then we sent it back to sustainability. And with some red, I think on the website, there is a redlined version of the ordinance, which Dave basically took an aggregate of the comments that came out of that. And then that's what was then brought to sustainability.
Correct.
And the feedback we got there was, there actually was not an actual meeting. What we had was an expert came in from Penn Environment. And he went over all of these points. This gentleman, Farron Savitz from Penn Environment. He is on the plastic ban task force, and he did write the ordinances and get involved with the passing of 26 different municipalities plastic ban. So he's pretty much the expert in Pennsylvania on this. And he hit all of the items, all the issues that we talked about. I wish we talked to him 2 years ago. Maybe we could have just dealt with this quicker, but in any case, the recommendations from him, which are supported by sustainability, and I'd love to just say, let's incorporate them and move on, but we feel it'd be better if we give you a clean version of that, which could be up on the website by Friday, and then we will come back and we will advertise it next month for the following month. So just to fully disclose the things that came out of that. He did recommend that we add back all of those whereas clauses talking about Act 27. And the main reason for that is it really gives the justification, whereas we had some residents who were asking how a second-class township has the right to even impose this ban. And that basically explains, where we have the right to clean air, clean water, and that's why a second-class township has the right to do this. So it was recommended that those come back into the ordinance. It was recommended that, we had talked about taking the fee away, which sounds reasonable. However, his recommendation was that every township, and only a few of them actually passed it without it, but everyone that has been trying to get it back on because they realized it didn't change behavior at all. That you need the fee because you need people to recognize that there's value to a bag, and that that we're trying to change so that people can be more sustainable and think about it. So that was his recommendation, and apparently Philadelphia is one of the ones that passed it without and has been trying to get it back on. He recommended a better definition of a reusable bag because that definition has changed a bit. I guess the definition that was in the previous ordinance, there was a lot of ways around that, and people were starting to just basically use bags that have just more plastic and don't have good handles, and it says they can hold 18 pounds, but they don't hold up. So he took away that weight, and it changed the definition, which I do have, but I'm not going to waste your time with it now. We'll put it on the website. And another recommendation, which I think people will like, is to take out the plastic straws, to not ban plastic straws. Instead, we should be asking our businesses to make plastic straws and utensils available, but upon request. So you're trying to change behavior that we don't waste, we don't just throw it in your bag and you don't want it. So they're his recommendations. That's what we're going to hash out, and we'll try and get something up by Friday. So we're going to have plenty of time to look at it, and then we will move on and try to advertise it the following month. So long story short, how's everyone feel about that? Do we have a vote?
Call the vote,
Yes.
and I vote no.
No.
Okay, and I will vote no as well, and thank you, that's unanimous. Okay, can we have a motion to authorize the administration to change the fee schedule to include a fee increase from 1,000 to 3,000 for simplified stormwater escrow to cover engineering fees?
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Oh, sorry, I thought I heard you.
That was for me.
Okay. Motion to authorize administration to change the fee schedule to include a fee for a failed use and an occupancy inspection to $100.
Is this really a fee for, okay, I'll make that motion, and then I'll ask my
Okay.
question.
I'll second.
Seconding. Is this really a reinspection fee, not a
Yes.
failed fee? I
No,
think we should,
when you fail the use and occupancy, they come out and do a reinspection.
right, so what are we paying, what are they paying for? The
Oh.
reinspection?
It costs Tanya $100 an hour.
Jackie, I'm just looking for a word change.
Yes.
I don't think it's a failure fee. I think it's a reinspection fee.
Okay, it's semantics. We can change
Yeah.
that.
Do we need to
semantics, but
vote
I
on that
think
to
it's
change that,
quite
Dave?
clear.
Because I'd be fine with that. Do we need to vote on that?
Well, you can vote to approve it as amended.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would
A reinspection.
recommend that.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve it as amended.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, sir. And we also do want to acknowledge the receipt of an agricultural security area application at 1022 Janney Lane, 1026 Janney Lane, and 1030 Janney Lane. This is the Muellers.
Can we just say?
Where?
Acknowledge with you.
Oh, I'm
what
sorry.
you've done.
Oh, they're both eight, that's one.
Okay.
I'm following this one.
Okay, that's sorry, I'll go back then. All right, and also we need to announce that the Fellowship Trail construction bid, we are rejecting the bid. We got one single bid and it was extremely high, way over the estimated cost of that. So we are going to reject that and we're going to put that back out to bid at the end of summer, which is actually a better time for that type of a project. And we think that we'll get more people in, it'll be more competitive. As much as we want to get it done, we don't want to pay quite as much as that came in at.
Why do we think that's better?
Well, because by then, most of the road programs are over, and these construction companies are looking for winter projects that they can start in the fall and work through
Yeah.
into the winter.
But at one point, we had told our residents we would have it open by now and then open by the end
Okay.
of summer. And so I'd like to keep some sense of urgency about this is finishing the Fellowship Trail so that it connects Weatherstone with the park.
The bid
It
right
was
now.
several
$700,000
more than
$700,000.
several.
I understand, and we don't want to pay $400,000 over the bid, but I'm not sure that we need to wait till fall if we're trying to. Or Brad Dyer, he's been waiting 10 years for that trail to get
But
done.
Sarah, right now, most of these construction companies are involved in doing road
I-
projects
I-
with many municipalities.
I've
So
heard that.
you're gonna get very few bidders, and it costs money to keep bidding
So-
it out.
Well, no one
We
came
have-
out. That was the
Do
issue.
we have to say this bid is only open for this short period of time? Or we make it open longer so they have time to breathe in between
I
projects?
think it's
and
30
say-
days. I think they have 30 days.
And we can extend that.
Dave, I don't know. It's on pen bid, Dave. I don't know that you can.
Well, you have to have a limited period of time as to when the bids have to be in.
Mhm.
Okay, you can, I think you can extend it beyond 30 days as long as it's in the bid documents. Okay, you can set that, and I think the reason why you want to have flexibility on when this can be done is so that you have more contractors potentially available
Right.
to bid. So,
When they're coming out, so they know it's not competitive if no one else shows up.
right, so you can frame it in the bid document, that it'd be completed by the end of the year. If someone could do it sooner, and get to it sooner, then that's great.
Mhm.
We'll have to look at how you frame it.
Pat, do you know how pen bid works?
It depends on who's, if that was LTO. That did that bid.
Right.
So they're the ones that put it in there. But then you put it on pen bid. They're just taking the information that we provide.
So
So it'll
We
be,
can
could you
show,
send us a copy of? Send us the one that we're now rejecting the bid on. And we could see if there was something.
We do have it.
Yes, that's up to you.
I have it. If you don't, I'll send it to
yeah,
you.
so if you
I
want
thought we
to,
all had it.
you would
You send it to the whole board.
extend the number of days in which a bid can come in, you can then give that bid.
I've seen.
So by a certain date, by July 1 or August 1, whatever it is. And then,
45 days,
Yeah.
yeah.
all right, so we can work on
Yeah.
that, make it a little bit more flexible.
I guess maybe we can work something out to have it ready to advertise next month. Keep it moving. I don't know. If that timeframe works, we'll talk about it.
You just
All right,
rejected-
Thank you.
have to
Yep,
reject.
we're just mentioning that it was rejected. We couldn't do that at the
You
workshop
need
when
to
we
vote to-
mentioned
you
it.
need to vote to reject.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to reject the bid of $614,976 from Construction Masters for the Fellowship. It's not the Fellowship Road Trail, it's the Fellowship Trails budget.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, it's on the motion.
Which is why we reject it.
Okay, yeah, and this does mention the cost. Should I put the amount? Did I make sure I announced that? Yeah. Let me just announce that it is on here, the bid that we're rejecting was $614,976, and that is what we're rejecting.
And I-
You did say it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be,
great.
it'll be in the minutes.
All right, fantastic.
Twice now.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's moving right along here. We want to also acknowledge the receipt of a conditional use application for 1406 Hollow Road for Butterscotch Cafe.
So.
Acknowledge the receipt of a conditional use application for 2380 Flowing Springs Road for Harrington.
No.
Which is, it'll be in the minutes that we received it.
Yep.
Mhm.
The time clock starts on when we have to have the hearing.
And we'd also like to make a motion to authorize a donation in the amount of $1,000 for sponsorship of the French Creek Iron Tour.
I'd like to make the motion to donate $1,000 for the sponsorship of the French Creek Iron Tour.
I'll second that. We've been a fight over who got credit.
Okay, give it to
And-
Sarah.
And I'll actually recuse myself from voting on that.
But you could
Business with
still,
them, but
you could still call the vote.
yes, absolutely, I will call the vote, but I won't vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
One abstention.
Can we also have a motion to approve the resolution number 8, 2024, supporting the Pennsylvania Commission for the United States Semi-Quincentennial America 250 PA? And this is just
I guess that's the.
giving our
test.
support. Yes.
Yes, we've
If you can
got
say it,
years
yeah.
to be able to say it. I make that motion. Without saying it.
Yeah.
And I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And that was supported and put forward to us by the Historical Commission.
Now, do we know if we have to do anything specifically with
No.
our Historic Commission planning? Doing? We're just supporting
We're supporting the whole initiative.
everything that's going on.
All 73 municipalities in the county have been asked, and we were on the haven't responded yet list, and now we're not.
And here's another one that we need to have a correction to. We may want to make a motion to approve resolution number 9, 2024, approving the Clean Energy Transition Team as a subcommittee of the Sustainability Committee. Now, we've kind of floated around with them trying to be their own committee, and what we're doing here is we're just kind of putting them back under sustainability, which makes everybody happy. And there are a couple of changes to the ordinance that was posted. Sarah, did you want to make that mention, or do we want to make a motion first?
Okay. In section 2 of the resolution, this is not an ordinance. It said
Yeah, sorry.
that expenses incurred by the clean energy team shall be approved in advance by the township manager. Actually, it should be discussed with the sustainability committee before it goes to the township manager, because the top half got it right and the bottom half still thought that it was an independent thing. The last sentence, clean energy shall submit a itemized budget as part of the sustainability committee budget, not independently to the township manager. So just cleaning up the confusion of merging two resolutions and forgetting to get rid of part of the first one.
So can we make a motion then to approve it with those corrections?
Yes.
Because Dave's gonna make them.
So we'll make a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Kirk, I don't.
Okay, now the next item here is something I think a few people are here to discuss, which is a discussion on the special events ordinance that I do believe I asked to have that put up online. What we're looking at is very rough. And we do want to have a workshop for that as well. Now, we were proposing July 1st for a workshop on this. I think that's something that could be discussed too, if that was a good time to do it. So we don't actually have to advertise it right now, but we're going to have a discussion on this. can I ask that we get through these other quick things that need to be done, and then we'll come back to that?
Why don't we just say I could make a motion that we hold a workshop on it on July 1st. We'll
Okay.
get that business
Okay.
out of the way.
Yep, okay.
And I'll second that motion, yep.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So then that's approved. We'll have a workshop on July 1st. Can I motion to approve payment number 5 for the amount of $23,652 to J&K Excavating Company for Janie Lane Drainage Project?
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
is that road still closed?
Janie Lane.
I don't believe it. Was it?
It was yesterday.
Someone here can probably tell us.
It was over the weekend. Thank you.
I didn't go that one. Can we have a motion to approve payment number 1, which is the final payment in the amount of $264,551 for Mico Contractors, Inc. for the Flowing Springs Road and Hollow Road pavement project?
I'll make that motion.
And I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Can I have a motion to approve the 2024 road paving bid in the amount of $280,737.19 to Asphalt Maintenance Solutions LLC?
Make that motion.
And I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. And one more here, we have a motion to authorize the administration to advertise unused or replaced equipment on Unibid for 2 very used Exmark 6-foot wide 0-turn lawn mowers, 12 250-watt metal halide high bay light fixtures, and 10 Kenwood 2-way radios. And I don't know much about this at all, but
Well, let's make a motion to do it
Okay.
first. And so
And I'll second that motion.
okay, do we have any questions on that at all,
No.
or that's what they need to do?
Yeah,
Yep.
all the
I'm okay
equipment
with
they
it,
don't use
yep.
anymore.
And we have replaced all that equipment already?
Yes.
Okay, just older technology or?
Yes.
failed
we're hoping to get
equipment.
a little bit of money back in our.
Okay,
lives.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Thank you very much. So, if there's any other questions or comments, about anything that we discussed tonight, please, this is a great time for it.
Well, John's been waiting.
Okay,
Thank
Back to
you.
the
And thank you
treasurer.
all for waiting. I really appreciate that.
pardon?
Thank you for waiting till now. I appreciate it.
Okay, John Eldridge, 1634 Hilltop Road, Bertrand, PA. I can't help myself, but adding a little bit. First off, to the treasurer's report, I think it's important that we talk about profit and loss as well as bank balance. So for the month of April, the general fund had a profit of just over $1 million. And that's fairly significant. As of in April of last year, it was minus $46,000. So that's a big change. The cash increase was only 710,000 versus this $1 million input. So I suggest again that there's another number that I hadn't mentioned before. There's 266,700 that's duplicated in the records. I suspect one of them is an error, like the other items that were duplicated.
Yes, it is.
Pardon?
It was a mistake.
Was a mistake. Okay, so it's sort of overstated by $260,000.
And that's going to be on the corrected version.
Yeah,
So-
we're gonna go back and correct it. We, like you said, we have a new gentleman working on the books and some mistakes were made and we were in a rush to get the 2022 books done, so some things did not, got overlooked. My apologies.
Okay. That's all.
Thank you, John.
Hey there, Julia Brendel. You know where I live. Anyway, my question is regarding all the paving that we're gonna be doing. That's on this bid that was just approved. So I'm not really concerned about that, but what section of Schoolhouse Lane are we paving?
For the, are you talking about the asphalt maintenance?
Yeah.
It's just approved.
Yeah.
Okay, they're just overlays. Mike does this every year. He fills in potholes and then he just does, what do they call it?
Well, this one, no, this is the double seal coat installed. The overlays is everything that's going on over in like Matthews Meadows, I believe. Ultra thin bonded wear
Yeah.
course installed. That's like Shannon Drive, Daniel Drive, Heidi Lane and all that. So on the list of double seal coat, you've got Dewey's Lane, Schoolhouse Lane, South Beaver Hill and Janie Lane.
Well, double seal coat is just basically that black rubber material they spread out.
Okay.
Put it on twice, I guess to keep the road intact longer.
Okay, well, none of Janie Lane is paved already. So how's that getting paved to even put the double seal coat on top of it?
Well, what Mike is saying is after Janie Lane does get paved later this year, everyone wants it to feel like it was gravelly. So by
Okay.
putting this on there, it's gonna give it that texture look is what he's saying. So it won't be gravel, but it'll have the texture of gravel.
Okay, so
want
that's
the-
what's going on, all of these things. Yes, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm thinking, do you think this is another taxpayer money for the aesthetics of the road?
Is that aesthetics or is that a safety issue? Like if we have
Well, Mike
horses
seemed
going
to
up
think
and
it was
down?
important because of the hilly areas that would give you traction.
Is it tar and chips? Is that what we're talking about?
No.
No.
It's something different.
I don't think it's aesthetic, Sarah. I think it's
It's
about,
not
it's
aesthetics.
about maybe a safety issue or.
It's a gritty
Yeah, it's like
slurry.
right, it's like,
Pretty slurry.
exactly.
Okay, so
that's
double
it.
seal coat is basically adding
So it'll.
aggregate back in.
Yeah, to the smooth paved roadway, so.
Okay.
You'll have that traction going up and down those hills.
Do you think we should recommend to all of our residents that they do that to their hilly driveways?
I'm planning to do that if I ever do my job.
Good idea.
Have we done it anywhere?
letting
Like
it
where
deteriorate
in the
now.
township do we have this already?
You know, what, I'm. new
You don't
to
know?
the Township, I don't know. Mike came to me with this a couple of weeks ago, and this is what he thought was the best course forward for Janie Lane.
Okay.
Because of all
So-
the controversy about the road.
Right, so the paving of those areas is already been, like that's already been
Went out
approved
to
and
bid,
everything.
yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
so is that approved?
That's been approved, yeah.
Okay,
Um,
so are they gonna be repaving Schoolhouse? Or are they just adding? That's what I'm like, so obviously we know Janie Lane's getting paved on all
Janie
the
Lane was
ends and
part of the
everything.
road project, Schoolhouse Lane was not, so I'm not aware that that's getting paved. That might be a future project, but I'll have to check with Mike.
And do we know, is this Schoolhouse Lane on the St. Matthews to Flowing Springs side, or is this the Flowing Springs to Hollow Road side?
I don't know any of the specifics. I'll have to check with Mike and get back to you.
I don't think that between Flowing Springs and St. Matt's, there's any section of that that needs to be.
Well, there
That's
is.
in really good shape.
When you're coming down to the stop sign, if this increases traction, when you're coming down to the stop sign at Flowing Springs Road
Oh, yeah.
from, I guess, St. Matthews on Schoolhouse, that definitely needs something because people continuously in the wintertime, they slide out, not that it's snowy, but people slide out into that intersection. And of course, you can't see when cars are coming. You know, people that are coming down Flowing Springs can't see you because there's too many bushes and everything there, and you can't see the cars coming
Yeah,
down.
I think
either.
that's more a matter of just being mindful that you're approaching a stop sign that's
Yeah.
on a decline.
Well, yeah.
It's in your best interest to
Well, sure,
slow
of
down
course.
way ahead of time.
I don't know. A lot of people
Okay.
slide through it. Okay, so,
I'll talk to Mike and I'll get back to you. with all
okay. All right. I think that's all.
And
Yeah.
can I just make one mention to you?
Yeah.
Last month you had asked about the distance from
Yes,
the proposed dog run and the horse trail, and
Correct.
it's a good 150 feet.
150 feet.
Yeah, which I
So-
mentioned that to Barb Mueller. too.
Okay, so
She
50
didn't think
yards.
It was fine. And nothing's going, it's not going through the,
The parking lot, it was rerouted around the parking lot or whatever. The plan was not
Yeah.
correct. Okay,
thank you.
all right.
Hello, Steve Sladik, 1420 Hollow Road. Regarding lost it already. Item number 10 on the conditional use application for 1406 Hollow Road. I wanted to ask the board if they knew that George Martin, the chairman of Planning Commission, recused himself from that. And what is the alternate process when that recusal happens?
He's
I'm not sure if
recusing
it's a
from
problem.
his role on the planning commission.
Yes, because he's representing the applicant.
There's no alternative needed.
He's just one less vote on
The
that.
planning commission
committee.
just continues without.
The Board of Supervisors will make the actual decision on this.
Yes, I
not the
understand
planning
that, but from what I understand, the planning commission does a review.
Yes.
commission. Still doing that.
And the comments that I've already heard from him are favorable comments, not facts.
Well,
And
I think
was
he's allowed to
concerned.
have an opinion anyway, but he just will not have a vote. And the comments will come to us and we will make the final
Okay,
decision.
that's what I'm asking. Of course, he has a right to an opinion,
Yeah.
but it's a little honky that
Mhm.
he's representing the applicants and the township at the same time. Second issue is the Iron Tour. As you know, some of you know that I've had my differences with the Iron Tour in the past. We've made up on those differences. Since we are gonna donate money to them, I think that the township has never taken advantage of what we get for that donation. Okay?
No, we get three riders and I was going to send that out to the committees to see if I could find any bikers that were
That would be
interested in
great.
doing it. If you're interested, I'd love to offer.
I
to you
would be, but
first.
I'm not available that Sunday.
Okay,
It's Sunday,
but
June 9th.
but it is going out. I
we
think
also
have
get a
till
lot of
June 6th
advertising.
To make that decision. So if anyone's interested, let me know. And we would be happy but I would prefer to have people who don't usually go and support
Yes,
it, try and get some
absolutely.
new riders out there for them.
And have we had residents take advantage of those three free registrations in the past?
I've never heard of any.
No, I do think that we had someone on our police force do it before, is what I hear.
Be nice if we can get a little team together.
But I'd like to see, I'd like to offer it to our volunteers and our committees. Anyone who's interested, who's a resident, I'd be happy to hear about. We only have 3 spots, but.
What would be other perks that went with the?
You get an advertisement, you
Oh, and
get
a
your,
t-shirt.
you get a free t-shirt and you get an advertisement in all their communications throughout the county and area.
Yeah, we will
So-
be on the t-shirt because.
We'll be on
we
the
Did get in there in time to get the advertisement.
They've been spamming the area, marketing like crazy for the last couple of months. So if we could do this next year, a couple of months early, we could take advantage of that.
Yeah, we almost missed out on it this year. I think it was.
I don't know why we
Get it
wait
in
till the
time,
last minute.
so.
Yeah, they're being nice,
Yeah,
but question is, what are we?
we're nice to them. We're very nice to them.
What do we need to advertise?
I don't know, but that's the benefits we get. There's,
Our plastic ban.
There you go.
what
All
do
right.
we need to donate for? I mean, that's another question for another day, but
Well, but short answer
yeah.
is they're very good. Friendship Pickering is very good partners in our efforts to conserve.
They're an
open
excellent
space
organization.
investments.
So that's all I had.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Suzanne?
Suzanne Roth, 1360 Schoolhouse Lane. I have 2 issues. One, I want to thank the police department for coming to my aid yesterday because I blew out a tire on Flowing Springs between St. Matthews and the next farm down on the left. I swerved to miss 2 rocks in the road and I didn't make it for both of them. The 2 officers who came were terrific. One of them went back and he said he thought that I hit it so hard that I split the rock in half. And I explained to him that there had been 2 rocks and I was trying to maneuver between them. So today, after I got back from taking my car to be repaired, I was looking at the area. It's right where the trail from Opalani comes down and crosses Flowing Springs, right at that area. And I noticed that mowing had been done to bring a trail up to that area where you can cross Flowing Springs there. And my guess is that in the process of mowing, some of those rocks were sent out into the middle of the road because they're definitely there. So I just want to point out who is ever doing the mowing should really pay attention
That would be
because
natural lands.
they do the
Maintain it.
main.
It's their trail, it's their land, and they maintain.
Well, then I will be in touch with them.
I'm
but
sorry
I-
that you were tired.
But
I
I
thought
just,
you were gonna say it was a pothole, which I.
oh no,
Even a
that's my
second.
next issue. No, but I called the police department. They were wonderful and they came because I was worried that somebody else was gonna hit those rocks. It's a bad road anyway, and then you're coming around this blind, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I will call Nat Lands about that and I'll talk to whoever. My next question is Schoolhouse Lane. George and I have lived in our house since 1976. We've been residents of the township since 1974. That road has been paved maybe twice since we've lived there since 1976. It is a disgrace. I thought it was just ducky that you poured some kind of goop in the potholes for Chester County Day, which did actually seal some of them up. We're gonna have a serious accident there. And I'm afraid it's gonna be my husband who's gonna be the victim. George is about to be 88 years old. He's not as steady on his feet. People drive like maniacs on that road. And I know you all used to listen to me say, don't fill the potholes, it slows people down. Well, guess what? It doesn't anymore. The other issue is that when the property across the street from me, I don't know the number of it, but the Milk Ray's old house was redone. Somehow the township allowed a pipe that went under the road that drained the springs to be cut off. So now those springs, and I don't know if you know much about water, but when water wants to go someplace, it goes. So now that water comes up in the middle of the road or slightly to the left of the road and flows constantly. And we have a very high water table. That's why we have Flowing Springs Road. That's my yard is a marsh. We have a lot of water and it creates a lot of damage. My next door neighbor, Hardy Quillman, I don't know what her married name is, every day goes out and pounds in sticks, orange sticks, to guide people to stay off the road. And every day they get run down. This has been going on for years. God bless her that she goes out and does it. But I just can't say how disappointed I am, particularly when I hear that we have $12 million in the bank and you've paved every single street around me, but that one piece.
Can I respond to that?
You sure can.
I know that the property owner across the street from you refuses to sign an easement, which will allow us to continue to pave that road schoolhouse.
And what does the easement ask for?
We haven't provided it yet, but he's under the impression because someone told him that if we pave the road and something happens, he's responsible for it, which is not true.
Well, there's a township plan that would discharge the water across the street. And then through an easement, take the water down below.
I understand that.
And
I understand that if the neighbor felt that they were being made responsible for any issues, why they wouldn't sign an
But
easement.
they're not responsible. I don't know where he got
That's
that
incorrect.
information. That's incorrect.
Oh, well, that's
100%
good.
Incorrect.
So that's good. Could you please present them with an easement
We're
that
trying.
says this?
We're trying to get the easement.
So that is on our radar then.
Yeah, it's been on the radar. We've been working.
Okay, I mean, because really, this is just ridiculous.
And you and I had this discussion.
I know, and I'm back one more time because I've fallen in the road. And we have people now who don't even stop to help you get up.
But until we get the property owner to sign the easement, there's nothing we can do.
Fine, I will talk to John.
Okay, thank you, Suzanne. I'm glad you had such a good experience with our police officer. I'm sorry about the rocks.
Well, and I'll call Nat Lance, thank
And
you.
when was it that we were out there with John and Steve and?
It's the same issue.
I
was-
A couple years ago.
Nothing's happened
Oh,
in 3 years.
It was probably pre-COVID. It was.
Oh, honey,
It was-
this
it
is-
was-
my road has
3
not been
years ago.
paved, maybe it was 1995. You know,
It's,
Nothing's
again, it's on our
happened since
radar.
time frame.
We're working on it. I mean,
Thank you.
We
Thank
are
you,
working
thank
on it. I
you.
promise you we're working on it. We'll get
Thank
there.
you.
It's just gonna take a little bit of time.
Okay, and
Were
could we, is
were
there?
you waiting to? Okay,
No,
I wasn't sure.
I
if you
asked
were
her if I
sitting
could
over there. Okay.
Is there anything we can do to slow down the traffic? We have that useless speed bump that is now missing a thing. I just don't understand. I cannot tell you, if you walk along that side of the road, people just whiz right by. Our society is going to hell in a handbasket, I think, actually. People just aren't courteous and they drive like maniacs. And I also, just one other thing, did come to the road commission meeting a while ago and asked them if they couldn't ask PennDOT, and I'm going to ask you if you can ask PennDOT, to put a mirror on the pole at my corner at Flowing Springs. And,
Yeah.
you know, and Schoolhouse, so that when you come down from St. Matthew's Road, you can look back up the road and see who's coming. It's just such a dead easy answer, and I can't understand why we can't have
I
it.
thought I heard that there was something proposed about that already. I know Ken from Traffic Safety was talking to PennDOT, and they said that there was an application in for that. Could that be something that you started?
I hope so.
Okay, I'll follow up on that.
Just because it really just makes perfect sense, because nobody can see around that corner and et cetera. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Good to see you.
I brought her. So. To continue on that, Jackie, if I could request that you meet with me and the homeowner that you said won't sign the easement, because I was asked to sign an easement too, and both our lawyers said, don't sign this easement. There has to be a solution.
Well,
Oh, okay, I don't want to argue the easement here. I want to have a meeting so we can debate it.
meet with you over legal issues. I have to have my solicitor.
I want you to meet with us over a solution to this problem because the water is flooding my yard
I
for
understand that.
3 years.
All I can say to you is.
That's all I'm asking for. Can you meet with?
Hold on, why can't we set
Okay,
something?
that's
up
all I'm
between
asking.
you?
I don't want to debate it here, but it's been going on for 3 years. The other problem besides the easement was the solution that was proposed by Mike it was absolutely ridiculous. It was an engineered solution. All it does is move the water from one part of my yard to another part of my yard. That's all it does.
Well, let's have a meeting, so.
So we definitely need a meeting because something has to be done whether the easement is signed or not. Okay?
There was an engineer with us when we were. out
Yes,
there.
and he engineered a solution that moved the water from my front yard to my back corner.
Okay, Dave, can I ask,
So-
you, is this a meeting that would just be regarding the legal issues like easements, or do you need the engineer in at that time too, or can we just have the
Well-
understanding of what's being done and
The-
we'll take care of the
I
engineering?
met with Mike early on.
We would need to come up with a solution before an easement.
Yeah, I have the easements. and
Yeah.
Mike explained to me the reluctance of the homeowners,
Yep,
so, I think we need to sort of start over. Let's see what's there.
I would
And-
appreciate that.
And we need the input of an engineer if the.
It's
just
all
don't wanna
about where we
waste-
want to flow this water.
Sounds
I just
like-
don't want to waste time with the engineers if you're talking about legal issues.
No,
Don't
well,
take
it's not-
responsibility first.
I think we need to put the legal issues aside and come up with a solution that works.
Okay,
Well,
There's a solution.
There
That
is a
is-
solution
so it's everybody. Just
that involves another.
want to clarify that.
Yeah, we need
And I
to
don't
get,
know that you've been talked to about it.
Another what?
Another
Culvert?
homeowner.
Oh,
There
Yes.
was a solution suggested.
it's going into George's yard right now and my
It
yard.
was just to send more of it there.
They cleaned that pipe out now, let's dump it in my yard.
well,
Sounds like you want to be at that meeting
That's
too,
not
George.
state water.
It's not my water, it's Suzanne's water. It's coming now downhill.
well,
It's being split between my yard and George's yard right now.
we can have a meeting and let's look at what they propose and tell us what's wrong with it so we can understand what we think would work. Obviously, engineer.
And I'll contact my neighbor and tell him to get in touch with Jackie to give him his name
Yeah,
and
we'll try to
We
get a
can set a
meeting
meeting.
together with all.
That would
of
be
it,
great.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Hello.
I'm Angie Freeman, 1205 Pottstown Pike. I have Grandma's Looks Bakery and Produce, and just wanted to stop in and chat a little bit about that. Since learning about it, I have, first of all, let me say, I understand that we have a plastic addiction in this country, trying to figure it out, trying to figure out the solutions. It has made me think about how to change things a little bit. But living at the corner for the past 24 years, the pollution that I'm getting in my yard is not plastic bags or straws. It is normally beer cans or glass bottles, and most of them would be some sort of alcoholic substance. So considering the fact that I don't know the gentleman's name, but I watched the video of the previous meeting, that this ordinance is to educate the public. I believe that we've all been educated by either, I've never gotten a DUI, I don't drink and drive. I think there was a huge campaign a long time ago to get people to stop drinking and driving.
that doesn't mean that that's made everybody stop. I know proof of that because it's being chucked out the window while they drive past my house. I'm not saying that you don't stop using plastics. I just think that there's got to be a better way than banning certain things and giving the public less choices. And I don't know exactly what that is, but the one thing that came to my mind is motorcycles. Everybody sees the signs. Watch out for motorcycles. It's on people's bumpers, it's in their yards. People that ride motorcycles want you to be watching out for them. Is it psychological? Do you actually remember it? I'd like to think that it has an impact on you. I know when I go out 401, I see in somebody's yard, it says you are enough. All of these different signs to stop people from committing suicide. It's a suicide prevention thing. It's been brought into our awareness. So is there a way to make it be brought to our awareness more than it already has? I mean, we've all seen the turtles with a straw in its nose or bags wrapped around an animal's head. I mean, obviously nobody that is a decent human being wants that to be happening. But I don't know that West Vincent or any of the local municipalities banning the straws, the plastic cups. We use a lot of plastic. I've tried to think about this. How would I even serve an acai bowl, smoothie bowl? I use plastic. We tell people if they want to bring them back, we'll fill them up. Am I going to have people bringing glass jars? Some people bring their coffee cups in to get coffee. I don't know that I really want my employees handling people's unsanitary cups, bringing them in. But I mean, I've tried to give this some thought, and the signage to me seems like the first step to doing something positive. Do you really need a bag, having a sign, or, any number of things? But I just don't know that BYOP, bring your own pie plate, is going to work out for me. So,
Yeah, just so you know, we're not proposing.
a metal
anything.
ban?
We're only proposing plastic bag ban and
No, it said
polystyrene.
it said food containers.
That are made out of polystyrene.
Okay, so. And the
No
cups.
cups, it's not on there.
It's on there. It says plastic cups.
Well, then somebody posted the wrong one because that's not at all. The only thing we're talking about banning is the polystyrene and the,
Prohibit the use of single-use carry-out plastic bags, polystyrene food and drink containers.
yeah, that's polystyrene.
And
So you use anything that's polystyrene.
Styrofoam.
Okay, so I use styrofoam for, heated up cinnamon rolls. I would have to look at our coffee cups to see if that is, if that's in there or not. But either way, I just don't know that,
You don't say that.
I don't know. We have so many people that are environmentally conscious to begin with are not using bags. They're bringing their own. People bring baskets in.
Right.
I mean, people that are throwing it out the window are not going to be affected by the ban. People that are throwing their straws out or doing, it's, I don't know, it just feels like if you say something as a business owner, then you want to kill the whales. I obviously don't want to kill the whales. I also just don't know that small government, if this is the answer, banning it, I don't feel like it's the answer. It does feel like an attack on small business. I did talk to 3 other business owners, and I won't say their names, but they do similar things that I do in the township. And everybody's response was the same. We're not Wawa. I heard that somebody went to Wawa, I watched the video, and they said, all you have to do is pass the ordinance and we'll do it. Why does it require somebody? I mean, if you're a logical human being, what big business or not, it would behoove Wawa to do it because they wouldn't be buying as many bags. Put up a sign, I don't know. It just seems like logic is losing with a ban.
They want to blame us for it.
Right, it's the end consumer is the one that will pay the price on it, but I think banning illogical behavior would probably be best, but anyway. That's my
Thank
2
you,
cents.
Angie. I appreciate your opinion.
3 cents, sorry, hold on.
Barry?
Hi, Barry DeLibero. I decided after the plastic bag thing, to take a walk. I needed a place that was going to be a baseline. I needed something that had been cleaned, and litter lifters luckily had done part of Pottstown Pike. So I knew I had a scoured and clean place that was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago clean. So I took the walk all the way from Font to my place on Pottstown Pike, across from Dave Frames. And I think I lost 10 pounds doing that. That hill's pretty mean. But those litter lifter guys, they were out there cleaning up, man. They did a great job. And in that month, the trash has accumulated again. There has been glass, aluminum cans, a lot of water bottles, a couple broken bits of like a pallet, piece of a tire. Mostly bottles and cans. Not one plastic bag in a month. So that tells me that that's the lowest piece of trash on the food chain. Lowest one. Just saying. So that's all I got on that. And as far as the French and Pick thing, my motorcycle identifies as a bicycle, so I'd like to be part of it.
Thank you.
Sorry, Julia Brendel, one quick question, because I forgot when I was before. How much money have we made from our EV charging station to date?
0.
Good question.
Very good, thank you.
Zero.
Nobody uses it because they have to pay for it now.
Oh, good.
Shocking number, right?
Yep.
Electric charging station. For the butterscotch conditional use, could you just reiterate what the schedule is of how this is gonna happen? It was a little confusing at the planning commission.
We have to actually have a hearing for it.
Yeah, I understand that part, but
Kathy, has the county done the review yet? No. We're waiting for the county to do their review. Once we get that back, we can schedule a hearing date. Normally, it's just prior to a board of supervisors meeting. So,
It'll be on a board of supervisors date.
so if it's not the June meeting, it'll be July.
so
meeting.
it's not going back to the planning commission?
I think they
No,
can make
it
a
does have to go back. They
recommendation.
have to make a recommendation. They're not making any votes. They're gonna make a recommendation to the board. And then this board will make.
Wait,
the
wait, what do you
decision.
mean they're not making any votes? Don't they have to vote on a recommendation?
Well, yeah, but they're already, they're gonna advise this. board
Yes,
of Their
so-
recommendation.
So that'll be at their June meeting, hopefully.
Yes,
And
and George will have to recuse himself, so the other members will have to vote without.
so their June meeting is after the supervisors meeting in June.
It is, and then we would have to
It
have
would
it
be in
in
July,
following.
yeah.
So in July, you would most likely schedule the hearing for it.
As long as we get the county review back. So
We have to
very,
have-
very fine.
We have to have it within 60 days unless the applicant waives that
60 days, so,
today.
well, so yeah, I don't, 60 days of
That works.
submitting the application?
No,
You're not, you won't make it unless you get a waiver.
unless us acknowledging receipt of it.
Yes.
Oh, are you acknowledging?
So
receipt
it
60
has
days
to
from
be
today?
at that second meeting.
Okay, so most likely July, and that's, and will the planning commission look at it before the county letter comes back or not?
Oh, that depends. A
On the
lot of
county.
times they'll say they don't want to review it until they get
Without it.
all of them. And
Okay.
other times they'll just go with the zoning. So it's up to them.
Okay. That's it for that, I guess. Are we gonna do something for special event ordinance too, or? Sure. I mean, do you want, or do you want to
We
start
did-
that now,
we
or
did post what was proposed.
you gonna discuss it, or?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I guess first question is, why now?
We'll get it off the back burner.
Well, and Chief came to me last week with some issues that you've probably seen in the news where there were some events locally. I think it was at Exton, they had a festival of some sort, and there was all counties were called in to assist because these fights broke out. Somewhere in Wilmington, there was another I don't know what it was, carnival, and 2 people were shot, 1 was killed. So these things are just making
These
the
were,
way to the
so these were,
forefront.
I'm not familiar with them, but what, they were ad hoc events, or they were?
So, no, Chief had been working on it for years.
No,
and then
these
kind of-
events that you said that these
Yes.
events were one of the impetuses for us.
What
having
would you
that.
call it, like your
Well-
country fair and accident
Gathering.
and rides and stuff?
A gathering of people.
Well, and we have the, I mean, it's not necessarily an issue, but it's something that's come up before and will come up again with an organization from New Jersey that, that just wants to have an event in one of our parks and set up, and we don't know anything about it, and we can't do anything about it. So we need them to give us information, because the police should know about what's going on with the traffic and to know that
No,
they're
I
bringing
agree,
enough.
at a certain size, that is.
Yeah, I mean, there are things
I
that are
think
going on
that's-
that people are just trying to do, and we have nothing.
Well, let me give you, I mean, looking at
Counter
this,
that.
just specifically, things that stood out for me is one, a gathering of 50 or more people seems arbitrarily small.
Well, these are things that need to be discussed. This is
Mhm.
just.
That seems
proposed.
way,
That he started discussing, it. I think that's useful.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I mean, I don't know how we came with the 50, but
What do you think is appropriate, George? What's your opinion?
I would say several hundred, 200. Maybe more, I don't know. Once you get to that number, then you have,
Yeah, we had
100 vehicles, maybe 2 people per vehicle.
We had a couple of hundred people in your backyard a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Just doing a history tour with the history tour.
okay, just going in order of the ordinance, it says a special event is not intended to include the routine operation of a lawful business. What does routine operation mean? Say, or, for example, a restaurant and you have a meeting room, but you typically don't rent it out.
Well, if you have a meeting room, then likely you have parking that would. When you built your restaurant with a meeting room.
Yeah, so say the Ludwig's
It goes
Inn.
along with it.
Ludwig's Inn has a room where, we have the horse show meetings and other meetings. But I would say that probably is not. I don't know how often, but that room is probably not used on a daily basis, maybe not even weekly. I don't know if it's routine. So routine operation seems to be something that's ill-defined.
But we should read that carefully because the use of that room is already in part of their use and occupancy that says so many. At the fire department, maximum number of people in the room and stuff like that. So that
Yeah, that's the
may
fire
not
hall.
be the kind of event we're talking about.
What about events at, say, Griffith Hall? How would they be covered in this? Well, that's not a fundraising though, for fire company fundraising activity per se, right? If they rent out the fire hall. How about an election, for example?
Well, I was thinking more of an antique show.
Yeah, well, seriously though, I mean, how would the Griffith Hall be handled in this? Do they need to get a permit for everyone that rents the hall now? Would they? Or I don't know.
I'm not familiar with it. Do they have parking? They have parking?
Griffith
Yeah.
Hall is the fire.
Right. They have a meeting room that.
Yeah.
Parking, so.
So that
Well,
counts
so
if that's
they have
routine
adequate
operation?
parking
I would think
inside
it's
the
part of the
Griffith
routine
Hall, right?
operation, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
Are you
About-
talking about the banquet hall,
Yeah,
renting
the
that out?
firehouse.
yeah,
That's something we have to look into. I don't know.
They have ample parking.
how about the horse show?
You guys are grandfathered in there, aren't you?
Hmm,
I'm not
yeah.
on there.
I would ask Dave
Honestly,
to
I
answer
don't-
that.
I don't know anything about the horse show.
so the horse show grounds certainly has parking and it's
They also have ample.
80
parking.
years, so.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty
And
routine.
you definitely know what to do with parking. You guys are on it.
So this is just discussion, but it seems to me that previously when we discussed this, we said grandfathering your regular events, because you run them regularly, you handle them regularly, and so maybe they fit into this routine order of business.
And you're actually the model of how to handle an event. I mean,
Thank you very much. May I speak or do I have to get up there?
Yeah,
George, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
And if I start ranting.
Yeah, okay, let me go through all my notes and then we can go on, because I'm gonna wanna sit down with Steve. Um, 45 days, I guess, application submitted, I thought that might be,
It
I
seems a
mean,
little
especially
long,
if you're
but-
talking about if we don't increase the number of people, you're talking about 50 people in a 45-day notice, that seems kind of absurd. I could see if you have several hundred people and you want more notice, I could understand that. But that, I flagged that.
What do you think is appropriate notice? Because I'm sure, like, just asking you, I mean, how long, if you're getting the balloon festival coming in, how much?
Well,
notice
I
do you
don't
give
know, I
For
mean-
something big like that?
Well, I know something like that will be planned 6 months in advance.
Right.
But, you know, for the horse show, we have a lot of people that will have, you know, like a cultural event, they might draw 200-300 people. But they don't, a lot of times they'll just use pop-up tents, they won't hire a tent vendor, so they don't need, you know, a lot of pre-planning. And.
And they might be too small to even trigger this.
Well, I don't know, that's what I said,
Right.
they could have 200 or 300 people. They could, but you know, we can handle it, I mean, parking's not a problem and the space is not a problem. So if they want to rent it on short notice, it's really, I mean, if it's something that they can handle, we'll rent it to them.
Well, I think it also said in it, because I remember thinking that was, you know, that was kind of odd to hone in on that number too. But I think it said in there that if there were special circumstances that it, you know, we could still push it through, like for whatever reason, like it just came up or
I
it's
think
for
we
a
should try to
reason.
be as clear as we can
Yeah,
about what sort of special circumstances.
So I'm assuming there's gonna be a
but
fee.
we can
attached
waive
to
that
this.
45 days is what I'm saying.
I'm assuming a fee is gonna get attached to this permit ultimately.
Oh, there's no fee in there.
I didn't
any
see in
of
here,
this.
maybe I missed it.
That was one of my questions. I didn't see anything.
Well, we would have to figure out if it was, what it was gonna cost us, the township any money to enforce it, that the fee would be comparable to what it would cost the township. We don't know that yet.
So if we need our police force out there to direct
Yeah, I
traffic,
mean,
it's
this was
different.
just, I was asked by a board member to put this back on the agenda because
Yeah.
it kind of got firm.
So for the horse show, if an event needs to direct traffic, they have to pay for it, they have the fire police do it typically. So I guess that fee, that doesn't go to the township though.
No, that would go, if you.
So
use
this-
the Fire
we-
police instead of our police.
Yeah, but are we setting a precedent where the fee would have to go to the township then?
Again, I don't know any of these specifics, except the discussion we need to have.
I don't think that the goal of this is to have a profit center for the township.
No.
I think the goal of it is to make sure that we're covering any expenses that we come into and making sure that the people are safe. Back to that group from New Jersey who wanted 500 people to ride bikes down St. Matthews Road. I mean, that's coming. I don't think we can stop it, right? But
Well, they've got
with all their
a
potholes.
permit to use
Yeah.
the state road.
you know.
But yeah, I would say there's a lot when you start blocking roads that you don't need an event ordinance for.
We don't have any tools to stop them. The only thing we can do is ask them.
You don't have any tools to stop them from blocking the road?
Well, no, if they're gonna come down, bicyclists have a right to the road. So what she's saying is these people are gonna be traveling down St. Andrews Road or St. Matthews
Oh,
Road.
I was gonna say
So
St.
over the course of
From
8
Evans Park.
hours, hundreds of them. So is it gonna make traffic slow down? Is it gonna make traffic full? Are they gonna be going into the opposite lane of traffic to avoid the potholes? The answer to all of that is yes, but we don't have the tools to stop it. So I reached out to PennDOT and I said, do they need a PennDOT permit to use the state road? And they said, yes. And they said, if these events are going to cause traffic problems, they will probably deny the permit. But this woman from New Jersey does not want to hear that this is not a safe road for that many people to be driving down. And so then she told me that maybe they'll just go on a hollow road. And I said, to her, well,
That'll be
have
better.
you- I said, have you driven?
They're coming
the
from
roads?
Virginia,
Like,
from
there's no
Virginia.
shoulder.
Make sure they come down Schoolhouse
Yeah,
Road.
right. Like, this is a woman from New Jersey who is, just does not want to hear that this is not a safe route for these people.
But they want to set up at Evans Park and give out bananas. I'm gonna throw bananas.
It was overlapping.
Well, now they want to do it at Evans because we said we weren't.
Well, I told them they couldn't do it at Evans because we have the construction going on in part of the parking lot.
And nowhere to park.
And the upper part of the parking lot's being taken up by the, stuff going on.
I think this is what,
pipeline.
4th of July weekend, right?
They changed it to July 19th,
Okay.
so it's further along.
So they are having some communication with you.
They are, they, very concerned about the safety of these unsuspecting bicyclists. And so it's in PennDOT's hands.
Okay, and I don't know that much about that other than what we just talked about, but, the only other thing I think I flagged here, I had a question about insurance. This says that the, condition may condition the issuance of insurance or require insurance for the event.
The certificate of insurance.
Certificate of insurance, but it seems like the event's on private property, it should be up to the private property owner to worry about his insurance. If it's on township property, sure, but if it's on private property, why do we require them to have insurance? There's no liability to the township. If they do something dumb, it's their fault. I don't know that we need that section. That's it for
Okay. Thank you,
quick
George.
reading.
Thank you,
Thank you.
George.
Steve, did we hit everything or did you want to?
There's gonna be a workshop.
Yeah, there
on
is,
this.
yes.
I think my contribution might be more productive.
Okay.
So,
Excellent.
so,
Thank
too.
you.
no taser needed.
No taser needed. Excellent.
I think we need
Caroline,
to all-
St. Matthews Road. This is the first I heard of this bike ride. I live on St. Matthews. And I'm just curious about all these people blocking our driveway.
Well, they're not all gonna be
What if
at the
there's-
same time. They're gonna be trickling through, she said. I
For
don't
how
know
many
how.
hours?
8.
For 8 hours.
And there's.
Okay,
hundreds
that's
of them.
great.
Yeah,
So
there's
I don't know how
500
many are
of
gonna
them.
be on the road at any given time. That's another.
And what if there's an emergency? Us
Again,
getting in and out of our property,
I'm
who's
trying
gonna
to
pick up all the
stop it.
trash?
I'm
that they're
trying
gonna
to
throw
stop
off their
it.
bike?
They're probably
I
gonna
can't
throw banana
hide.
peels.
There's nothing I can do. It's a state road. So I've reached out
I
to
mean-
PennDOT. I'm trying to get PennDOT to shut it down because it is very unsafe, but my hands are tied. It's not a township road, it's a state road. I can't
realize
do
that.
anything about it.
I
And
realize
and
that.
Jackie, I'm assuming we're probably gonna need to have our police staff
It's,
this
Well,
in
I've
some
told this
way
woman
because it's
to
gonna
be
be
something.
very unsafe. Yeah.
Yeah, this woman is just clueless. She just thinks these people are just gonna drive through this little country lane and
she
everything.
doesn't live here, so
No, she doesn't.
This is
She's
our
from New
place.
Jersey, and these are, I mean, it's a
And she's never been
fundraiser for
here.
runaways in New Jersey. And I get that it's a fundraiser, but they need to be safe and our residents need to be safe. I'm afraid people driving on St. Matthews is winding
oh,
and turning.
it's a raceway. It's a
Yeah, plus
raceway.
people have horses on that. road.
And dogs.
And the potholes.
Yeah,
the
and
potholes,
potholes.
so
And
it's.
so I would recommend not filling the potholes until after the race. Make them slow. But yeah,
Suzanne
I know.
several times came in and said, please don't fill up the potholes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't think they want it.
now we need to.
Do we know what, sorry, Julia Brandel, do we know what the rest of the route is? Do we know where else they're going?
West Virginia.
I think they're
It's
ending
a
somewhere
two-week
near
tour
here.
and they're starting in West Virginia and working their way, and they end in Euclid, so we're the second to the
Oh,
last
so-
day.
So New Jersey's not.
No,
New
that,
Jersey's not part of the route.
that's where
No.
the promoters are from.
It's getting
What's the
very
name of
confusing.
So where in Euclid are they?
Yeah, do you know the
Euclid
name
or
of
Upper
it?
Euclid?
She said Euclid. I don't have, she didn't give me the bike route. She just gave me the route here. And, she wanted to use Opalani and we said, you can't, there's no trash receptacles, yada, yada, yada. It's still not constructed yet. And she wanted to use this parking lot and I said, well, we're having a cell tower built and part of the parking lot's gonna be closed off. So I suggested she reach out to one of the churches. Apparently St. Matthews said that they could use their parking lot to hand out bananas, do whatever it is they're gonna do before they move on to Euclid.
Upper St.
Upper, yeah, which one?
She just said St. Matthews.
So basically they're gonna hop on St. Matthews Road down by Pewtown. So they're gonna come through Kimberton on St. Matthews Road, all the way down St. Matthews Road, and then they have to either go straight and go down Redbone, like the dirt part of Redbone to get to Fellowship, or they're gonna turn up 401.
Apparently this route was set a long time
Yeah,
ago,
this woman
right?
just, arbitrarily pick this route without doing any investigating or, I mean, you're putting hundreds of people at risk. I just think you should have.
Well, I mean,
And here's the point, we wouldn't have even known about it if they didn't want to put a tent up to give out bananas.
well, I mean, the reality is, yes, if they didn't, you know,
Even known about it,
the
now we
bikers
don't.
can ride on the roads, and is it a nuisance? I think it's a nuisance. When I was on my way here, I stopped at Hollow Road on Flowing Springs. I proceeded through the intersection and some guy came down Hollow Road from like Pewtown and literally didn't even slow down. He looped behind my car and continued onto Hollow Road
Bicycle.
on a bicycle.
Well, the Department of Motor Vehicles says that we have to share the road with bicyclists, so.
And does it also say that they have to follow the laws?
They're supposed to follow the traffic signals.
And is there enforcement ever if they don't?
They're supposed to follow the rules of automobiles.
Right.
With stop signs.
I mean, I don't see our cops following bicyclists around and trying to give out tickets.
Well, no, you could, they don't even have to follow. They could just sit at one of the stop signs and watch them all blow through it and give them all tickets.
But here's the question, so if we enact this event ordinance, what is that gonna change about this group who was just gonna come anyway? Would we at least?
I don't
be
think
able
it
to now
changed-
Charge for the police's time?
Well, the thing is that if they're just riding on if they're riding on the public road through the township and they're not actually stopping anywhere in the township, I don't know that there's anything that you can do.
We can make them, have traffic people in front and behind the group.
Well, you're saying it for 8 hours?
Road should do
I
anyway,
I
right?
think we could put reasonable conditions on any permit.
Yes.
And if it's going to be something like this, that we could approve the route or reject the route, for instance. If we have this.
And tell them if they're doing this, they need to have traffic control in place.
If they're gonna be on a route, they have, right, they have to have whatever it may be.
But even if they're not actually stopping anywhere,
They're coming through the township.
Yeah.
So we did this in another township where we had the same issue when there's no shoulder. They would ride 4 and 5 bikes wide, so they were all the way out into the middle of the road.
well, yeah, and they
Cars
should
couldn't
get
around
sticks
them.
thrown in their tires for that one.
Well, what I'm saying is we could prevent this from
I don't
happening.
think there's.
This is one of the issues we could use that special event ordinance to prevent. Or to at least give better guidelines for these people who want to use our roads.
Does it say that in the ordinance? Does it talk about roads or does it talk about gatherings or?
Really, this is-
It talks about bikers.
This is an ordinance that has been worked on for years.
Oh, yeah, I
by
know.
The board and chief. I have not actually read the whole thing cover to cover. I've been crazy busy the last 2 weeks,
Mhm.
but you know, when we have the workshop, I will be well versed and I'll be able to answer all your questions. I was not expecting this to turn into a discussion.
That's okay. What's the date for this bike thing?
July 19th. It's a Friday.
I was gonna say for the workshop, July 1st.
July 1st for the workshop.
Are you
And
gonna do that?
what's that?
July 1st?
We just approved that earlier and the hope is that we'll get an opportunity to discuss it before then and talk about some of these things that you brought up and be a little more prepared. Okay, you can send your proxy. Thank
Motion
you.
to adjourn.
Are there any other questions? Good. All right, I second. We're adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone. Oh, yeah, please get some free plants from the EAC. Yeah, help here. Oh, hold on 1 second. Are we still recording? Copy of it.